Welcome everyone to Numerical Gems in the Torah. In Parshat Shemot, we have the well-known incident of the burning bush. The bush that was burning but was not consumed. This is where God reveals to Moshe that he has been chosen by God to lead Israel out of Egypt. The discussion that happens at the burning bush, even though we read it as if it was one continuous discussion, Rashi tells us it took place over 7 days. And even if we read it as being one continual discussion, this is one of the longest dialogues in the entire Tanakh between God and a human being. And we see that Moshe begins, we'll say, somewhat unsure of himself and his ability to lead Israel out of bondage. And God is, as it were, trying to convince him. And we see that Moshe is trying to draw out from God as much as he can. And God is trying to draw out of Moshe his inherent potential, his greatness. If we look at the word Moshe, Moshe's name, Mem Shin He, if you reverse the letters, it spells Hashem, the name, the way that we refer to God when we don't want to say the actual names of God. Hashem, God. So many people look at this and say, that's cute. Moshe's name backwards is Hashem. But it's actually revealing something very, very deep about the relationship between Hashem and Moshe. At the burning bush, God calls to Moshe 2 times, Moshe, Moshe. There's only 4 people in the entire Tanakh where God calls them twice by their name. Avram, Yaakov, Shmuel, and Moshe. But in a printed Chumash or Tanakh, by Avram, Yaakov, and Shmuel, there'll be a little black line called a pasik between the 2 names. But with Moshe, there is no division. And so when we say that Moshe's name backwards is Hashem, is that the closeness that God would develop with Moshe had no precedent. And there was nothing like it afterwards. And that's why it says in the Torah that God spoke to Moshe panim el panim, face to face. And it also says peh el peh, mouth to mouth. So here we could see that the inverse of Moshe being Hashem really indicates this unique relationship between them. Now, if you take the numerical value of Moshe, it's 345. 345. Moshe says to God, when God says, go back to Egypt and lead the people out, go to Pharaoh and say, let my people go. And Moshe says, well, if I go back there, who should I tell them sent me? What name should I tell them? And God reveals at that point a name that is never mentioned before or after in the entire Tanakh. I will be that I will be. Ekia Asher Ekia. This name, very unique name, equals 543. So again, if we notice 543, the inverse is Moshe's name, 345. So here again, we have this face-to-face, mouth-to-mouth kind of relationship. This gematria of 543 also equals koach shira, the power of song. And this I heard from Rav Ginsburg, that what God was revealing to Moshe when this name that equals the power of song. So this is connected very much to a beautiful midrash called Perek Shira, where it goes to 70 different creations from the mineral world, the vegetable world, the animal world, and each creation has a song that it's singing. So from this we learn that every creation, every person has their unique song. Now, this isn't necessarily what we think of as a musical song. Of course, it's connected to that. But if we would ask, what is the song of every creation? What is the unique song of every person? So we would answer, one's purpose in the world is one's unique song. In other words, when we're doing what we should be doing to fulfill our mission, our purpose, our task in this world, then everything flows like a harmonious song. And if we're acting in ways that are taking us away from our purpose in this world, that is like cacophony. That's the opposite of beautiful, harmonious music. So this name, I will be that I will be, is also telling Moshe, but telling all of us that the power of song, this is how we become I will be that I will be. It's a name of God, but it's also telling us each person has to become who they need to be to fulfill their purpose in this world. That is the song. That's the koach of song of each person. If we look at this name, I will be that I will be. So it's Ekia, Asher, Ekia. Ekia is really the letters Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey. And that equals 21. But you have in this name, the name twice. So 21 squared equals 441 equals emet, truth. And so God is revealing to Moshe the truth of his own life, his potential, his mission, his task in this world. In our evening prayers, after the 3 passages of the Shema, we continue and we say, Emet v'emunah, truth and faith. If you add up Emet and Emunah, it equals this name of God, 543. I will be that I will be. And here, sometimes we might think of truth and faith as possibly contradictory. If we take the term blind faith, well, a person who has blind faith can believe in things that are not true. Our goal, of course, is to unify truth and faith. And where we see that is in the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, God our God, God is one. In the Shema, it's the only verse in the entire Tanakh that has 2 large letters. The ayin of the word Shema, to hear, and the daled of Echad, one. God is one. So if you read the words in the order, ayin daled equals aid, witness. That is the mission of the Jewish people, to be God's witness of that there's only one God and God is one. But if you read it backwards, as here we're saying, Moshe backwards is Hashem, and Moshe in numerical value in verse is this name of God. And so if we add them together, then we have 543, Emet v'emunah. But in the Shema, if you read, instead of ayin daled witness, it's daled ayin, it's da, to know. to know the truth. So this name that God reveals to Moshe is the name of truth and faith. One other thing I'd like to share also is the burning bush. In Hebrew, the word for bush is sneh. Samech nun he. That equals 115. When we finish each of the 5 books of the Chumash, the 5 books of Moses, when you finish a book, it's customary. Everyone stands and everyone says in a loud voice, Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek. Be strong, and be strengthened. The word Chazak equals 115, equals sneh, the bush. And here we could see in the whole discussion that God is trying to strengthen Moshe, that he is the right person for this task. He's giving what we say in Hebrew, chizuk. He's strengthening him. In Jewish tradition and even in halacha, when you do something 3 times, it adds a permanence. And it's what's called a chazaka, from the word chazak, strength. So along with the tradition that when we finish each book, we say chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek, there was an older tradition that still some people do. Most people don't do this anymore, but at a certain time, people would say the word chazak 3 times. Chazak, chazak, chazak. So if you add up chazak, 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 it equals Moshe. And so here we could see really what's going on at the burning bush. This is God really giving chizuk to Moshe, bringing out his potential, showing him the idea of I will be that I will be. That it's not just a name of God, but in reflection, Moshe reflected as Hashem. Moshe reflected is this name of God. And so each and every one of us needs to be who we can be. And so my blessing to all of us is that this incident at the burning bush, it's not just a story of a one-time incident. It's really the story of every single person finding their mission in this world and knowing that when we find our mission, it's God who will give us strength to fulfill it. May it be so with all of us.